Hello, my friends. Liberty Garden coming to you from the mobile studio. Actually, I came to bring my kid to piano classes, and they're half an hour long. So I'm out here waiting. I don't want to go back home, and they have to come back. And I'm a little bit dressed up right now because after this, I have to go to. My other kid has a school concert that she's attending to, and I gotta go look. I gotta go looking presentable. I can't look like when I'm at the farm. So anywho, uh, today's video, little video here, is a little bit. I'm a little. I'm not sticking to my lane per se. This is a somewhat of a response to a series that Steve at Corsair Trainers begun about the newly awoken, and I think it's how to convince your neighbors that we the conspiracy theories we're a bunch of whack chops after all. So anyway, so I think everybody, even in suburbia, nice suburbia, where there's a lot of affluence and stuff like that, everybody's starting to feel the pinch a little bit. You go to the store, things are more expensive, gas has been expensive, we're going up and down, etc. Everybody has already felt the pinch. Interest rates haven't made it any better. People are a little bit on edge right now that if one of them loses their job and they just got into a house at 7%, they may not be able to make the payments. They might be upside down on their mortgages if the rates keep going up, or so that kind of thing, right? So talk about I think the second episode was about the second show that he did, or the second podcast he did, was about economics or sources of income, right? So here's a few that I've seen throughout my life, people making money in different ways that I would not think of, but that they still do it, and they're not very complicated ways. Okay, so here's a couple of ideas to make money that I've seen people do. Some of the easiest ones are rental properties. I mean, in the good times, you acquire a little duplex, you put in, I don't know, $20,000-$30,000 down for a duplex. Let's say you did this 10 years ago. You have a little duplex unit that's giving you money for retirement, a little supplement to your retirement, or just a little extra for when you're laid off. I've seen other people do renting a room in their house, right? The wife, the husband loses their job, and if you got the second floor is empty, the game room upstairs is empty, you got a bathroom, well, you figure out a way to create an entrance for that area, and you rent it out. And that will supplement the loss of income that you have. There's an infinity of ways of making money online. Good and bad, I guess. Ever wonder why all those waitresses never went back to work after the pandemic? Think about it. But anyway, I've seen, I know a couple, they got here not too long ago from out of the country. And normally you see more entrepreneurship in people who come from out of the country than from people that have been raised here in the United States and went to college and got a job. And it's a very simple reason, is that when you get here from out of the country, one, you may not know the language too well. Two, your degree may not be recognized in this country. Three, you may not have a degree. And maybe you're too old to go back to college. And so you need a fast way to make money, and nobody will give you a job, or you end up making, working a cash register at Walmart, which is not very great. So a lot of people start their own little businesses. So this couple that I know, very, very, probably early 40s, kids in school, they're doing very well for themselves. And guess what they started? They started a medical billing company. So that's the thing, apparently. And I think you can go take a couple college courses. It's not something complicated. You might be able to get something online, some crash course online, some certificate or something. I get the feeling this depends on the state that you're in. But once you get the terminology under your belt, you get in touch with doctors, and from home they fax you in. They don't fax you. They email you their bills, and you start coding them for claiming them against the insurance. So you got to know a lot of the codes and what gets covered by insurance and what doesn't get covered by insurance. It's a lot of data entry work, a lot of work, but it pays very good apparently. So that might be something you want to look into. Another service that I've seen, answering service. Answering service. A lot of services that, especially smaller companies, they'll hire an answering service for their off hours. And if they really need to be, if somebody really needs to get a hold of them, they'll call out to you, right? But otherwise, they'll take your name and they pretend like they work for this company, and they'll take your name and try to listen to you, to your whine for a little bit, and then hang up on you and relay your message on to the business owners. So that's another one. If you have hard skills, this is I mentioned this today in one of the chats with Steve. I had a neighbor in Mexico, and he was a retired mechanic, and just a regular mechanic, general mechanic. And from about the age of about 60 till the age about when he died, he made a living outside of from his house. People would park their car in front of their house, and he would change the oil, do a tune-up, little brake jobs, little simple things like that are daily occurrences that people need to. I mean, he would get there, and he had like a nice chest of Cokes and waters and stuff. People would get there and they would talk to him, and so he had his little clientele already that he would every day get 4 or 5 guys in and out, and that was it. He made some money. That was a very good income. A couple of blocks down was another guy that had a tire repair shop, also right on the sidewalk. Now, granted, there are laws and stuff like that. I'm pretty sure that in so many trade communities, you're not going to be allowed to start changing people's oils in the front of your house. But you know what? When shit hits the fan, a lot of that crap goes out the window, and people got to make a living, right? So that's another thing I saw. Some very good businesses that I've seen around my area, especially here in the DFW area, is the guys that do tree trimmings. I mean, we're always having windstorms and hailstorms and all kinds of nasty storms, ice storms. Trees need to be trimmed, this and that. I mean, those guys make a killing. I mean, just on a regular, normal day in fall, a guy leaves a cart at my house to trim my oak trees, and he charges $250 per tree to just trim them. You get rid of the undergrowth, kind of open up the branches to let a little more sunlight to hit the grass, etc. Nothing complicated. They're not having to go up on a tree 30, 40 feet above the ground. I mean, they have a pole saw basically, and that's how they take care of the tree. I'm talking simple jobs like that. We're not even talking jobs where the tree is kind of leaning against the roof of a house and you have the risk of crushing the roof or anything like that. I'm just talking simple little trimming, $250 a tree. And that involves, taking the branches down, putting them in the back of your truck or your little trailer, and disposing of them. A lot of them have little shredders attached to it, so they'll shred it right then and there. And if you want to buy the mulch, that's an extra something. So it's all around good business. A lot of them, what I see is that a lot of them, they also get the big wood, the oak woods, the trunk, the logs, and then they sell those. They sell them to guys who season them for about 6 or 7 months for firewood. So by next winter, those things are ready to be burned. So it's a good little business. A lot of these guys you can tell that a lot of these guys were doing it when they were younger men, or maybe they just woke up one day and had an idea and decided to hire younger guys to do it for them. So they're the ones who provide the truck and the equipment and the tools and maybe the insurance, and they hire a couple of guys to help them out. You got to be careful, because you don't want to give a chainsaw to a guy that doesn't know how to use a chainsaw. But you can tell that some of these guys are no longer in their prime to be doing these kinds of jobs, but they got themselves a little crew, and they're rocking. Another little business that I've seen done by kids a lot. They go get yourself a power washer, cleaning driveways, and I mean that's a good one. Another one that I've seen done quite a bit. It was pretty good. You know how your trash cans get real stinky after a while? Well, there's this guy that got himself a like some sort of a rig with a water tank. So he would go right behind the trash can on trash day. He would be running behind the guy who picks up the trash, the city truck. And when they would put the bins down, he would pick up those bins, pressure wash them, get all the dirty water into this container, and put the trash can back in its place, clean. And that was a subscription service, right? So they were charging you like $56 a month to clean your trash cans, basically one time a week, right, on your trash day. So that's not a bad deal. Another one that I see a lot done online, which is not very difficult, but I guess you will need to have some office skills at least some Excel skills, is bookkeeping. And, some accounting, a couple of accounting courses, but you can take these courses online as well. And they're not accounting courses; they're actually called bookkeeping courses. They're not difficult. I used to go to a cobbler nearby, and this guy, he did not speak English very well. And man, these guys prey on these poor sons of bitches. So his bookkeeper, who wasn't even an accountant, was charging him. So these guys, these small businesses, they got to report their revenue, their income every quarter. So this guy was charging this guy like $500 every quarter just to go into his place, work, get his invoices, put them in categories, put them into I think he was using QuickBooks, and submitting the forms to the IRS. It would take nothing to this guy to do it, and that's how much he was charging this guy. So it's a nice little job, and a lot of this stuff you can do from home. If look up on YouTube bookkeeping businesses, it's very impressive what you can do. If you have a significant other that's not doing nothing at home or just bored or something, you can get a job. Spend a couple of months on an education, and then just do that. It will pay off quite a bit, I think. Let me see what else. Another one. I mean, don't forget education. Education. I don't mean like being a teacher, an educator, and a teacher. I mean education, teaching things. Some of the guys that make the most money on YouTube, they're called life coaches. Life coaches, and that's how they come across, life coaches. And they say, we'll help you lose weight, we'll help you with depression, we'll help you with your finances, we'll help you with exercise. Well, they're like a one-stop shop for every freaking thing that you got going on in your life, right? Those guys make quite a bit of money. But on a less esoteric nature, teaching, I mean, I see at the library all the time. You have teachers that are math teachers or math tutors at the library. They're teaching and they're doing tutoring. Art tutors. Right now, the teacher that's teaching my kids piano, she studied piano for about 12 years. She's an accountant actually, but she does not have a degree in music, but she became really good at music. She studied piano, she did performances, etc. She was a professional player, and now she teaches music from the comfort of her house. That's an ideal job, and she lives in a very nice house. So there's a lot of money to be made with teaching, right? If you know how to weld, you may want to start a channel on YouTube telling people how to weld, teaching people how to weld. I mean, you can be surprised how much money those guys make. I mean, the trick is not getting people to come to your house and pay you a monthly fee. The trick is getting people to watch you on social media and do that like that, all right? Because you can reach a lot more people that even if they pay you $5 a month, if you reach 500 of those guys, you're making a killing. Anyway, folks, I mean, those are some of ideas that I see out there. Some of them are hard skills, some of them are soft skills, some of them are artistic, some of them are consulting. I mean, that's another one. I mean, if you work for corporate America and you have a lot of experience, there's a lot of small businesses out there that cannot afford a person with a lot of experience, or they only need somebody to help them launch of a new initiative in their business. Let's say that they're trying to launch something that they ignore, a certain technology, a certain way of doing business, etc. They may hire you on a project basis, and those projects usually, I mean, you end up paying $50,000-$60,000 for 6 months of work. I mean, they're very well paid. So a small business will probably pay that instead of hiring somebody full time for that amount. And that means that you can you be working with 3 or 4 businesses at one time and be making some good money like that in consulting. But anyway, folks, that's all I got. Hope this is helpful to anybody out there. Until next time.